Right now, in this exact instant, you believe you are experiencing the present moment, not a moment ago, not a moment from now. This one precisely happening live inside your mind as it actually occurs. I need to tell you something that took me a long time to fully accept, something that unsettled me the first time I truly understood it. That feeling, that confident sense of living inside a genuine, unfolding now is not what it appears to be. It is not a live broadcast. It is something closer to a carefully edited recording, assembled after the fact and presented to you with the label live pasted over the top of it. Today we are going to find out exactly how that illusion is built, starting inside your own skull and ending at the very edge of what physics allows us to call the present moment at all. And if you want to keep exploring the strangest, most honest truths about your own mind and the universe together, make sure you are subscribed, because I do not think you will ever trust the word now quite the same way again. Let us start with something genuinely strange about your own brain, something neuroscientists have understood for decades, but which almost never makes its way into everyday conversation. Light reaches your eyes and becomes a neural signal in a matter of milliseconds. Sound reaches your ears and becomes a neural signal on a slightly different timeline entirely. Touch, taste, balance, each one of your senses reports back to your brain on its own separate schedule, some arriving faster, some slower, none of them naturally synchronized with any of the others. Picture a television broadcast assembled from a dozen different camera feeds scattered across a stadium, each one connected by a cable of slightly different length, each one delivering its footage to the control room a few milliseconds apart from all the others. If the broadcast simply aired each feed the instant it arrived, the result would be chaos. Sound arriving before the image that caused it, reactions playing out before the events that triggered them. Instead, a skilled editor deliberately holds back the faster feeds, waiting patiently for the slowest one to arrive, and only then stitches everything together into a single, smooth, convincing broadcast that feels perfectly synchronized to anyone watching at home. Your brain does exactly this every single moment of your life. Neuroscientists have measured a genuine, unavoidable delay, often estimated somewhere between 80 and 500 milliseconds, depending on the type of stimulus involved, between the actual physical event and the completed, edited experience you consciously perceive as happening right now. Your brain waits for its slowest incoming signal, and only then assembles everything into the seamless, convincing present moment you have never once thought to question. There is a particularly striking experiment that demonstrates this directly, something called the flash lag effect. Show someone a moving object and flash a stationary object at the exact same physical instant, right alongside it, and the person will consistently, reliably perceive the moving object as being slightly ahead of where the flash actually appeared, even though both events occurred at precisely the same real-world moment. Your brain, it turns out, is not simply reporting reality as it happens. It is predicting, adjusting, and quietly editing incoming information before ever presenting it to your conscious awareness as a finished now. This gets even stranger and more unsettling when we look at decision-making itself. In the 1980s, neuroscientist Benjamin Libet ran a now famous series of experiments measuring brain activity while asking people to consciously decide at a moment of their own choosing to move their finger. What he found troubled an entire generation of researchers who followed him. A specific pattern of brain activity called the readiness potential consistently began building up several hundred milliseconds before participants reported becoming consciously aware of having decided to move at all. Whatever we mean by the felt sense of deciding something right now, the actual neural machinery appears to have already been quietly at work well before that feeling reaches conscious awareness. Picture discovering that the director of that same broadcast had already selected which camera feed to air several seconds before the on-air host ever announced the decision live. The announcement itself simply another delayed, edited piece of the same production, arriving to your awareness only after the real decision had already, invisibly, been made. None of this means your choices are not genuinely yours. And I want to be careful about that because this finding gets misused constantly in ways that go well beyond what the actual research supports. It means something narrower and in some ways stranger, that the conscious now you experience, the one that feels like the live, unfiltered sight of your own free will unfolding in real time, is itself a carefully constructed, slightly delayed production assembled by machinery working quietly behind the scenes before the curtain is ever pulled back for you to see. And here is where the story turns from neuroscience into physics itself. Because it turns out your brain's delayed, edited now is not the only place where the present moment quietly falls apart under close inspection. Einstein's own mathematics delivers a strikingly similar verdict from a completely different direction entirely. Two observers moving at different speeds relative to each other will genuinely, measurably disagree about which of two distant events happened first, each one correct within their own frame of reference, with no universal, shared now available anywhere to settle the disagreement between them. Picture two editors in two separate broadcast trucks, each one receiving the exact same raw camera feeds, but through cables of subtly different length, each one confidently assembling what feels like the one true. Our live broadcast, unaware that the truck parked beside them has stitched together a version with a genuinely different order of events, neither one mistaken, neither one able to claim their version is the single correct present moment. So here is where the first part of our journey leaves us. Inside your own skull, the present moment is a delayed, carefully edited construction assembled from mismatched sensory signals arriving on their own separate schedules. And out in the wider universe, Einstein's own physics tells us there is no single, shared now for that construction to even be measuring in the first place. If neither your brain nor the laws of physics can locate a genuine, universal present moment, what exactly are we experiencing when we feel so certain we are living inside one? That is exactly where we are headed next. Stay with me. We discovered that your own brain assembles the present moment the way a broadcast editor stitches together mismatched camera feeds, and that Einstein's physics refuses to hand us any single universal now for that construction to even be measuring in the first place. Now I want to take this all the way to its logical and genuinely strange conclusion. If there is no single shared present moment anywhere in the universe, physicists have followed that idea to something called the block universe, a picture of reality where the past, the present, and the future all exist permanently equally the way every page of a finished book exists at once, resting quietly between two covers, regardless of which particular page happens to be open in front of you right now. Picture an enormous archive containing every single frame ever captured by every camera at that stadium broadcast we imagined earlier, filed away permanently, in order, forever. The broadcast you watched live felt like the only version of events, unfolding once, moving forward, never to be repeated. But the archive itself does not experience the broadcast that way at all. Every frame sits there, equally real, equally accessible, equally present, whether or not anyone happens to be looking at it in this particular instant. Many physicists now believe the universe itself resembles that archive far more closely than it resembles the live, unfolding broadcast our own minds insist on presenting to us. This raises the deepest version of the question we have been chasing this entire journey. If the archive already contains every frame, permanently, equally, what exactly is it that feels like it is moving scene by scene through that fixed and finished structure? We touched on part of this answer once before on this channel. Entropy, the steady statistical drift from rare, ordered arrangements toward far more common disordered ones, which gives the universe something like a preferred direction, even if it does not give it anything resembling genuine motion. But I think there is a piece of this puzzle that connects even more directly back to where we started this particular journey, inside your own skull. Your brain, remember, only ever has access to one single frame from that enormous archive at any given instant, delayed, edited, and assembled from whatever sensory signals happen to arrive most recently. It has no access to the frame that comes next because that frame, from its own limited vantage point, has simply not been assembled yet. And it retains only a partial, reconstructed record of the frames that came before, which we call memory, itself just another delayed, edited production, no more a direct window into the actual past than your sense of now is a direct window into the actual present. Picture a single reader holding a lit candle, moving slowly along one narrow shelf inside that enormous archive, able to see clearly only the one page directly illuminated in front of them at any given moment, with the pages behind slipping into a dim, half-remembered glow, and the pages ahead sitting in complete, genuine darkness, not because they do not exist, but simply because the reader's candle has not reached them yet. That narrow, moving circle of candlelight, and nothing more, is what we actually mean when we say we are experiencing time passing. This is why physicist Carlo Rovelli has argued, and I find this framing genuinely beautiful, that time is not really a lie in the crude sense of the word, the way a magic trick deceives you about something that could have been shown to you honestly instead. It is closer to something like temperature, a real, meaningful, measurable quantity, but one that only exists relative to a particular, limited point of view, rather than something woven permanently into the deepest, most fundamental fabric of reality itself. Just as no single molecule of air has a temperature of its own, no single frame of that vast archive has a now of its own. It is something that only emerges once a limited, embedded observer like you, like me, starts moving a candle along one narrow shelf, unable to see the whole archive at once. I want to be honest about where genuine scientific consensus actually stands, because I think this topic gets oversimplified constantly. Not every physicist agrees that time is purely an emergent illusion in this strong sense. Some argue seriously and carefully that time must be genuinely fundamental, that change itself could not exist at all without some real underlying flow to make it possible. This debate remains, honestly, unresolved, sitting right at the unfinished edge of everything we currently understand about how gravity and quantum mechanics fit together. But whichever side eventually turns out to be correct, I think something remarkable survives regardless, something worth sitting with as we close this journey together. Even if the archive itself never moves, even if every frame has always existed, permanently, equally unchanging, the experience of that narrow candle moving slowly along its shelf is not nothing. It is not a mistake to be corrected or a trick to feel embarrassed about falling for. It may be one of the single most extraordinary things the universe has ever produced, a frozen, complete structure somehow generating from deep within its own fixed architecture, creatures capable of experiencing it as a story, unfolding scene by scene, moment by precious moment, exactly as though it were happening for the very first time. So where does this leave us? At the end of our journey together, your own brain assembles the present moment after the fact, the way an editor stitches together delayed camera feeds into a convincing live broadcast. Physics refuses to hand us a single universal now anywhere in its deepest equations. And what remains, once both of those certainties fall away, is something stranger and more beautiful than either illusion or reality alone. A candle, held by a limited, embedded observer, moving slowly along one narrow shelf of an archive that may already, quietly, completely exist. Exploring the honest, unresolved edges of what time actually is and what it only feels like is exactly why I do this work, and exactly why I wanted to walk through this particular journey with you. If this changed the way you think about the very next now you experience, then make sure you are subscribed so we can keep exploring these questions together. Tell me in the comments, honestly, does it comfort you or unsettle you to think that the present moment you are living in right now might be in its own quiet way an edit? Until next time, keep looking up and keep noticing the candle in your own hand.